Everybody. I figured I'd come in a few minutes early and make sure that everything was working. I've had so many issues with with my audio, among other things. So I'm just going to make sure I can see chat going there. So I hope everyone's doing okay. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. If I need to be louder, I can probably. I don't know if I can make this any louder than it is right now. Well, chat doesn't seem to be a bit soft, right? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't think I can make this any louder. I'm gonna see what I can do here. It's kind of odd because I was a guest on Jerry's live stream and my audio was absolutely perfect. But it's a little soft now, so sorry about that. Still, obviously, a work in progress, but hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Got a few more minutes before we get started here. Let me see who's here. I see the count. I see James at Dundas Junction. James, I've got a woodworking project behind me I'm going to want your advice on. Ray Bobel, of course, thank you for your input on the audio. Wigwag Workshop, what's going on? I hope you're barbecuing or barbecued something fantastic today. Joe Rader, Black Rock Central, good to see you, sir. Todd Armstrong, looking forward to meeting you in Canada in less than a week's time. Who else is here? Mason Dixon Railroad, hello. Okay, loud and clear. Glad you can hear me okay. That's great. John Train, big friendly giant railroad. Good to see you. Good to see you. One of my kids' favorite stories of all time. Absolutely. Steve 87th PSAP. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Good to see you. I've got some vehicle projects under construction. We may get to those later in the show. So, thank you, Todd. Yeah, James, this is going to be an unusual project, so any advice I get will be great. Hey, Dwight Curley, what's going on, brother? Thank you for telling me not to be afraid to start my 3D printing adventure. I haven't started that yet, but I expect I will. All right, I'm going to have to. Got to get my overhead camera going here. That's what you can see here. I'm going to switch over to webcam view, so hopefully later. Okay, I think you can probably hear me again now. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. um, I don't know. When I turn on this webcam, if I lose audio, that's going to be a problem. But I can still hold things up and show you some of the things I'm working on, some of the projects that I want to talk about. So, yeah, right. And I didn't even switch cameras. I just turned on a camera. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I'll try it when I get ready to do that, when we go live in the show. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll just stick with this one camera view here. So let's see who else may have joined in here. Yeah, that was weird. I see Boxcar Jerry is with us because he's posting online right now. I've got his t-shirt on and everything. Where is he? Oh, well. Yes, you don't see the duck. I can't blame my streaming software on this one, but I don't know for sure, James, what exactly happened there. It was working fine before, although I didn't have audio hooked up, so we'll have to see. But I have used this little Insta360 action cam before for overhead shots live streaming, and it was not a problem. So we'll see what happens. Nice, John. Well, glad you had a successful train show. That is awesome. That is awesome. So John went to BFGR. John went to train show. What did everybody else do today? What did you do train related? Hello, Dave at DB Tech. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Glad to see you here. Been working on any electronic projects, Dave, or you just been stuck working in the yard? I know you've got a big yard to mow, so that may be all you did today. And if so, no worries. I understand completely. So, well, as usual, I'm having technical difficulties. Now, I've got to tell you, I am hoping the next time that I'm live, I'm going to be in my workshop, and I'm hoping to have a really permanent setup in there for overhead camera work, and hopefully have some of my technical issues that I'm having here ironed out. Some of it has to do with kind of this temporary setup that I've got here at this desk out in the middle of the layout area instead of in a more permanent area. So we'll have to see. Hopefully I'll have... Okay, Dave, that's good. Yeah, you got to take a break, man. When you're working during the week, you need to take a break on the weekend. I'm sure the incline project will be done when it needs to be done. Anthony Dodge, how are you doing? Anthony, I thought of you the other day, and I wanted to say this during the stream, so I'm going to say it now. And that is, you need to check out Paper Model, singular, papermodel.com. There's either a laser cut or a paper model of a concrete retaining wall in European style that's available on that website. I noticed that. I'm kind of a paper model nut, and so I saw that and I thought of you. So papermodel.com, singular, papermodel.com, and search for that. It's like railway models, but there's a concrete retaining wall kit there that might solve your problem on your layout. So, I see, Ray has a permanent setup and still has issues. Well, Ray, just let me live in my little fantasy world, please. Okay, maybe I will solve it with a permanent setup. So, all right. Well, it's after 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining me on Sidetrack Sunday for August 17th, 2025. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad to be here. I'm not as prepared as I usually am with a ton of B-roll to show you, but I have a couple of interesting projects to talk about, quite a few, 3 or 4 really interesting projects to talk about. I've got some unboxing to do. Hopefully, I can get my overhead cameras set up to work. If not, it might be a little difficult. I'll have to be very conscientious about showing you what I'm doing and what I'm opening up and what I'm looking at. So sorry about that. But first, I have a couple of little discussion points that I want to cover. And the first is, of course, that we've got Sparky's Great White North Canadian meet and greet coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm so looking forward to seeing a lot of you there and meeting a lot of you in person for the first time. In fact, I think the only person going to this meet and greet who I've met in person before is Sparky himself. Otherwise, I think all of you, it's going to be my first time to meet you in person. Is Sparky, I see someone saying hello to Sparky. I don't know if he joined, but if he's out there, hey, Sparky, I'm giving everybody a shout out for your meet and greet. I'm so looking forward to coming up across the border. I've got everything arranged, rental car, hotels, cash. I'm ready. So this is going to be a lot of fun, and it looks like Sparky has got his book solid with really interesting things to do and have fun together. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be kind of a hectic thing getting packed up and all my camera gear ready, but I'll be there, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. Now, so that's kind of my first, the first topic that I wanted to cover. So all of you out, oh, Sparky he's not here. Okay, well, whether he's here or not, I'm still looking forward to his meet and greet and seeing all of you. I know I'm going to see Todd and James, and I'll hopefully see Trackside Mike. Hey, Trackside Mike, I see you there. Hey, what's going on, brother? And Nathan DeLay, Dave at DB Tech. I haven't met in person, so it's there's going to be a lot of folks there who I haven't met, and so it'll be awesome. Hey, JP at Beaumont Hill Subdivision, how are you doing? I see you've joined, and I haven't chatted you. Oh, there's Sparky. Okay, he's there. So, going to be a great weekend next weekend. Really looking forward to it. And I'll have to figure out, I think I'm going to be in the town of Niagara by the Lake on Sunday night. So I'll have to make sure that I'm online to see Sidetrack Sunday at that time. So, but again, that is, it's going to be one of the highlights of my year, I think, and certainly a highlight of the summer, although we've had a couple of fun trips. But I think it is going to be just awesome. Now, the next question I have for you all, just to kind of poll the group, I'm curious about what you do when you have a work session and you're working on your layout. Do you have music playing in the background? And if so, what kind of music? Or do you always listen to live streams or podcasts, or maybe you're streaming YouTube videos in the background? I'm just curious what you do. Just don't eat at St. Louis Ribs. Okay, I don't know where that is, but I'll be careful. St. Louis Ribs generically are very good. but I'm curious. I cannot really get anything done if I'm listening to music that has vocals in it. I need to be listening to instrumental music, and I often listen to jazz, instrumental jazz. But I'm just curious what you all do to keep your ears occupied when you're working on the layout. So Grandpa Rails, when you said JD, I didn't say hi. How you doing, JD? Good to see you. When you say different, you mean all kinds of music. You just listen to music generally, JD. Is that the idea? And Wigwag kind of mixes it up. I like silence, that last option. Yeah, it does, after 4 or 5 hours here at the shop by myself, I find I need a little auditory stimulation. So, Rail Artist, first, Good to see you here, Rail Artist. Hope you and the wife are well. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of classical music in the truck. Mussorgsky, Borodin, and, kind of chamber music sometimes. And I do think that that's useful. I'm reading Anthony Dodge's comments, making up lyrics. He's very good at making up lyrics. Oh, you listen to I'm not sure I can listen to that kind of stuff, Anthony. And I mean, I love that kind of music, but I think it would distract me. So I don't know. I don't know whether Sparky has any karaoke lined up for this coming weekend, but if he does, I'm there. I love karaoke, and although I think Anthony Dodge and Joyce would probably take any prizes on offer. So, okay. Well, I don't know. I just, I'm curious. I was just curious. It's obviously a very broad spectrum of different types of music or other sounds that people listen to. Trackside Mike, yes, I think talking to yourself counts. And I do that all the time, either out loud or in my head, probably too much in my head. But Dave BNSF N Scale, I didn't see you here. Welcome, sir. And yes, it is hard to sing along, but it's not hard to sing along to opera, one of my wife's favorites. I can't do that. But I think that probably would be better than songs where I understood the lyrics, because it wouldn't be using that part of my brain that processes language, right? It would just be music. And so I think that would probably be okay. The French horn parts. Oh, okay. I don't know Harry Hibbs. You're going to have to introduce me to Harry Hibbs when I'm up above the border, James. I don't know him. Anthony, I see. There he is. Hello, Anthony at Georgia Sunbelt. Good to see you here, sir. We're just having a quick chat before I launch into some of my major topics for the evening. I just had a few questions. And some good blues music, says John Train, Big Friendly Giant Railroad. So, yeah, that's good. Whatever floats your boat. I was just curious how unusual my taste in jazz was. No one has said jazz. I hear you. Good point, Rusty. Yeah, if you need energy, maybe you put on something that's got a faster beat. I know when I'm painting inside the house, painting walls and ceilings and stuff like that, I love to listen to music from the 50s and 60s. Got a good beat. It's totally upbeat. And so that's usually kind of my painting music. So, yeah. Trackside Mike, I'm surprised you aren't streaming Bob Ross nonstop as you're working on the layout, based on how good you are with scenery. All right. Well, that was interesting. Thank you all. Now I have a question. I need your advice. This table is the first table that I built for my layout, but I'm going to be starting to build more tables, and I have a basic plan for the railroad, which I've shared before, and I don't think one second, I think I can come up with a paper drawing of the plan. I know on a previous show, we kind of went over the various possibilities for the basic design of the layout in this space. And I'm seeing all the ones that I didn't select are coming up. I've got a stack. Here we go. So I don't know how. So that's kind of the basic shape of the layout. And this straight here is what I've built back behind me here. So that kind of, that'll be one of the first things you see. If you come into layout space and you go to the left, that's what you're going to see. But I've got to get more serious about track planning here. And I've tried AnyRail and I'm struggling with AnyRail. And so I want your advice about track planning software. Any tips for, yes, and that's right, JP, it's going to be a big island. I've thought about renaming my channel The Big Island. I've got tons of space and I don't want to have, I don't want to attach anything to the wall for my next of kin to have to deal with when I pass. And I've got plenty of space. And I don't want to have too much layout that I can't finish it in a reasonable amount of time. So, yeah, it's going to be a big layout. Those are, again, showing this on screen here. Those are minimum 41-inch radius curves. So each of those blobs is, you know, like 8 feet in diameter, basically. So it's, yeah, it's a pretty big design. But I'm struggling with AnyRail, and I'm hoping that interesting, JP, and I value your input on this, especially about this, because I know you're quite the track planner. Yeah, and I don't want to have to ascend this learning curve any more than necessary, but I feel like I need to, you know, plan the transitions from straight track into those big blobs or those turns. And I don't have a ton of space. You know, this table, as an example, is 36 inches wide, but it's 18 inches wide on each side of the center divider. So it's not, you know, I don't have a ton of space to play with. I've got to kind of get it right, get the easements coming in and out of those blobs right. So I think I'd value the software for that. I like that, Todd. Yeah, old school pencil and paper. It might just be the way to go. Yeah, I know. And I've certainly got John Armstrong's track planning for realistic operations to guide me doing that. Okay, Dave. Yeah, I may. You know, my objective is to just get a basic track laid around temporarily so I can run trains, and then I'll work on the final track planning for each table in each area individually and expand it. But I just want to get trains running around the dog bone, and it is a glorified dog bone. So yeah, JP. Yeah, so you know, I've kind of started that process. I've got a drawing of a blob, and I've been working on the curves to get it out of there. And maybe I could just use AnyRail to kind of plan that transition. Obviously, once I get into a straight track scenario, it's not a problem. But you can build around the room without connecting to the walls. JP, you might, I'm not sure I understand that comment, so you might want to give me a little bit more. Thanks, Steve. Okay, Count, I will reach out to you offline and see about AnyRail. I mean, I started doing a few things on AnyRail, and I kind of get it, but it's a lot of work. I think I'll be gluing things down, Dave, at DB Tech, and initially I'm just going to be tacking stuff down enough to get it to run. Remember, I'm going to be doing power on board, battery power, so I'm not going to have to run any feed wires or anything like that up to the track. So I don't have to do anything. I can move things around later as I see fit and as I start finalizing the track plan around each additional area of the layout. So I don't want it to be tacked down too hard, So but I'll probably just use a little caulk and tack it down essentially. So that's right, JD. It's going to be cold rail, as they say, cold rail. Which I think will make things cold rail and finger flick switches, no switch machines. I'm going to really try and focus on the things that I love, which is scenery, planning out industries, that sort of thing, and not having to fiddle with cleaning track and running feeder wires and all that stuff that I've done on past layouts. So Tesla charger, yeah, I don't know. I'm reading JP's comment here. So he uses any rail to prove a concept. Okay. Randall Ellison, good to see you, sir. I didn't see you here earlier. Sorry if I missed you. Hope you are feeling well and that the weekend has treated you well. So, all right. So that helps me a little bit. I am going to try and get into track planning here. Now that the workshop is done, I've got one more day of work in the workshop. I've got to finish caulking the baseboard, and I've got to paint the baseboard white. It's white already, primed, but I need to put a final coat of white on it and finish around the window trim, painting white, maybe a little caulking up there. So I'm hoping that by tomorrow, close of business, the workshop will be done, and then I can start wheeling things in there like my spray booth, my workbench, this desk that I'm at, all those things to get in there. So hopefully I'll have good Wi-Fi connectivity in there, and I'll be able to broadcast from there and be able to participate in chats, etc. Okay, Dave, I'll take a look at that. Oh, you can see the model river behind me. I'll take a look at that. I will. James did his layout in any rail as well. Yeah, I know it's probably the industry standard, but I'm finding it difficult to figure out and to have fun using, All right, I'm going to put this down. So I'm now going to move on to one of my more major topics. Behind me, you can see this plank. It's 12 inches wide. It's about 7.5 feet long. And it weighs about 80 pounds. And it is a section of a freight car deck floor inside a boxcar. And it is made up of material like this, double tongue and groove. And so you can probably see it's long strips of tongue and groove that have been glued together. And I have 2 of these planks. And so my objective is to make a desk or a work surface out of these planks. Now, obviously, it's going to be an extremely heavy table. This weighs about 80 pounds in my view, 75, 80 pounds probably. I can move it around, but not easily. Once I get it glued to the other plank, it's going to be that much harder to move around. So, yeah, I see the chat is still going on about CAD, and I'm not surprised. It's difficult. So it's super cool to have these 2 planks out of the people who sold them to me, who cut them out of the car, didn't have a lot of information about the age of the car or what road it was on. All that would have been really cool to have. They did say it was made out of hardwood and that it's not oak. But they may have told me what it was, and I just can't remember. But at any rate, that is one of my projects. This will be in my workshop as one of my work surfaces. So what you're seeing now is the top of the plank, so what would have been visible inside the boxcar. And so it's all scraped. It's showing the wear and tear of what it did in the railroad. And so my objective is not to really change that too much. I may sand it down a little bit, but I'm not going to change it too much. So I'm going to step away from the camera. You'll still be able to hear me here, and I'm going to turn this thing around so you can see what the unfinished back of it looks like, as I describe a little bit more about what I'm going to have to do to turn this into a piece of furniture. So here you can see that it's there's double tongue and groove, and there's actually some metal posts which are used. This is the end of a plank. There's a metal post here, so cutting through this where there's a metal post is going to have to be done with care or not at all. And here's the back side of the plank, and you can see it's it's really rough. It's got some glue that's squeezed out from between the planks. Too nice a piece of wood for, yeah, it's really going to be more of a desk, I think, James. It might be a place where I do YouTube production and I'll move my computers over there. You know, I'm not sure. But yeah, it is a nice piece of wood, and I have two of them. So my proposal is that, yeah, it is. It weighs 75 pounds probably, that board. So this table, when I build it, or desk, or whatever we want to call it, is going to weigh probably 200 pounds by the time I'm done. So my initial thought about construction, and I welcome advice about how to construct this, is I'm going to scrape off all of this roughness here. I'm going to sand this flat. I'm going to join the two boards together using the double tongue and groove that's in place. Clamp those together. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and I'm going to glue that to the back of those two pieces once they're joined together. That way there'll be no worry about them coming apart. And also, some of these on the other plank at the tip where they've cut this, there's some really small segments, so they've fallen out, like this piece here. So I can't have that going on. So I'm going to have to glue some pieces back in, and I figure if I have a 3/4 inch plywood back holding it, they'll hold together better. Now, when you say use biscuits, James, I don't have a biscuit joiner. You mean use biscuits to cut biscuits in between these? So cut a biscuit here and have biscuits. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. It might be worth making that investment. I do have a Craig pocket jig. I've never used it. But maybe that would be something to consider. James, I don't know how you do it. These bucket hats get awfully hot. All right, I'll try. So that's kind of my thought, is to laminate a piece of 3/4 inch plywood on the bottom. Then I'll probably get some veneer and veneer the edge of that plywood. Maybe I'll get some nice plywood, although it's going to be on the bottom. And then, yeah, I'm telling you, Steve. But 1/2 inch plywood just seems so wimpy for this job. I just, but yeah, it's going to be hard to move around. But I do have, you know, I can use a hand truck to move it around if I have to. And that's kind of a good segue. Here are the legs that I'm planning on using. So that's, let me step back so that it can be in the picture. There we go. So it's kind of a modern leg, steel. It's like at least an eighth of an inch thick, maybe 3/16 of an inch thick. Weighs about 25 pounds or so. So these are the legs I was planning on using, and they would be easy to fix into. Why am I fired, James? Did I miss something here? I see. Yeah. So how much does that desk weigh, Dave? I'm sure that's not light either. So these are the legs I plan to use, and I think they have a nice curved, modern look, which will juxtapose with the rough-hewn, kind of worn look of the freight car flooring. So. Yeah, I will be wearing my bucket hat. That's a good point, John. BFGR. 2 layers of plywood, Dave. So what do you mean, 2 half-inch pieces? I don't know what you mean by 2 layers of plywood. My construction idea is bad. Okay, what do you recommend, James? I don't want it to break apart in the center. So you're saying maybe the biscuits would be the way to join that, so I wouldn't have to worry about it breaking apart where I glue it together with the double tongue and groove? Well, yeah. Or you can tell me next weekend what I should do, James. I'll see you then, and I certainly will not be starting this project before then. So that would be a great thing for us to discuss. I'm sure we'll have many things to talk about, but it'll be great for us to discuss that. All right, so that's one of my projects necessary to kind of complete the workshop area so I have enough room to work on all of my projects. So that's, yes, Todd, I'm hoping to see James at James's layout on Sunday. I won't have a ton of time because we are leaving to go to Niagara by the lake, and I don't want to deprive my wife. My long-suffering wife will have had more than enough trains by then. But I do want to see James's bench work. He's a master craftsman at that stuff. So I see. Just cleats across the where those planks join together, you think? I don't know. I just don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of confidence that this lamination is going to hold up. You know, it's kind of separating in some areas, and it's obviously it's 80 years old or more. So I'm a little bit worried that the thing might delaminate over time. So I'm not exactly sure. Hello, Hot Rod Rodney, 25. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. I'm getting some. Yeah, that's right, Sparky. So I'm taking her to Niagara by the lake to have some nice wine, maybe see some live music, and we're staying at one of those fancy, Prince William hotels or whatever it is downtown. So, and then we have a fall view room at a Tapestry Hotel by Hilton, one of their older, we love to go to those kind of older Grand Dame hotels that they have in the Tapestry collection. So if you build a frame, okay, that's a question to Steve. So yeah, I don't know. At any rate, that's my project. I definitely will not be starting this before I depart for Canada, but Okay, I didn't plan on talking about this particular project, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this across anyway and talk just a little bit about one more kind of railroad adjacent projects. I am coming on Friday, James. I'm not exactly sure when I will arrive. Um, okay. I'll look for my email, Sparky, about that. And I haven't viewed all of your videos about the itinerary. I did print out the itinerary for Saturday afternoon's activities. Um, so I'll definitely be getting all that coordinated in the next couple of days and pulling that together. But I'm glad to hear there's some time for shopping from my wife. And of course, she could take the rental car and go off with any other wives who want to go and do something else besides trains for a while. So, all right, thanks, James. I appreciate it. Okay, Mike, good to know. Trackside Mike, good to know that your wife will be there for a while at the train. Then my wife will have a little female companionship. And I know Anthony Dodge's wife, Joyce, is coming as well, so that'll be good. Okay, Sparky, I will check those videos out. It'll probably be in the morning. I'm really shot today, but I will definitely watch those and take required action unless you tell me it's something I have to do tonight. You know. So let me go over here and get one more project, the basics of one more project, so you all can have a look at that. Sorry, I was off camera for a while there. So this is a canvas. It's I want to say it's about, I don't know, it's like 66 inches high and 48 inches across. And I built a frame and I stretched the raw canvas over this myself. And then I've treated it with some gesso, and this is actually 180 degrees off. But this frame is the exact size and fits perfectly over the electric box here in the space, which previously had some really crappy louver doors on them that didn't properly shut and weren't very attractive. Thank you, Todd. That sounds good. That sounds great. Yes, my wife's name is Rose, by the way. Um, so, all right, very good. I will check that out, and I'm glad we're talking about the meet and greet. Whoa, I don't know why the camera wasn't focusing there. So, at any rate, this canvas is going to be the biggest painting I've ever attempted, and is going to be an abstract cityscape of a city on the water, where the skyscrapers and the palm trees, because it is going to be PK&W related, which is the Gulf Coast Railroad related, are going to be reflected in the water. And so I'm catching up with chat here. Don't worry, Todd. My wife has a thick skin, and I doubt very seriously she's on or watching chat. I did invite her to come on the show today if she wanted to. She said she might come down to the space tonight, and I said, great, you can come down and be on the show. And she declined. But actually, what she's doing right now is working on her own YouTube video. She's learning how to edit her own videos. And so So I'm glad she's doing that because I don't want to have to be editing her videos. I'm glad to do it for her, but obviously her production is going to be slowed down by having to rely on me to do editing. So, so this is another project courtesy of my space. I just thought it would be nice to have something attractive to cover up the circuit breaker area in the telecommunication stuff, you know, the router and all that stuff are located there. So this is going to be a predominantly black and dark blue background with light area where the buildings are, and just going to be dragging a brushloads of paint down vertically to simulate skyscrapers, and then having them reflected in the water. So yeah, Ray, we're going to miss you. I'm still thinking about trying to get over for the October Timonium show, though. So we'll see how that goes. I think if the Crab Fest was going on, I think my wife would have really wanted to go. She loves crab, and so she would have really wanted to go to that. So that was last year. This year, no Crab Fest at Timonium. So there it is. So those are two projects going on here at the shop that are tangentially railroad related. So my next topic for discussion, I'm going to try and do some unboxing. So I'm going to turn this camera on again, and then I'm going to try and reset the audio, and hopefully I won't cut myself off for the rest of the show by turning this on. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll disconnect it from the PC and turn it on, and then I'll plug it in. And we'll see if that order of connection makes a difference. So far, you still have audio, but I haven't plugged this in. So here goes nothing. Okay. Hey, you can still hear me, I think. So, oh, but I haven't hit the webcam button. When I hit the webcam button, that may cut us off. We'll see. Okay. All right, well, I'm back, and my overhead camera here is somehow cutting off audio, so sorry about that. That isn't going to really help me very much, but I'm going to try and do some unboxing and be rigorous about showing you what it is that I'm opening. So let me grab my first unboxing. Well, the first thing I'll show you is some tables and chairs that I ordered off of, I think, Etsy. Let me check. Yes, that was Etsy. So these are tables and chairs and umbrellas. If you recall, the structure that I did, the coffee shop, the 151 coffee shop from Texas that I modeled, scratch built recently, it needed some tables and chairs and umbrellas in the front in order to simulate the prototype. And so I did get two of these They're very finely done, and they've got like a metal pole for the umbrella, so there's some construction that was done in there. So really quite nice. I'm happy with those and how they came out. I'm reading some post here. Oh, Randall, yeah. That does look, wow, that sounds exciting, Randall. Yeah, I haven't done any rail fanning in a long time, you know, where I've actually gone somewhere. Now, admittedly, I see trains outside my shop all the time. I think the last thing that happened is there was some power being relocated back east by NS. You know, every now and then there's a train that will be heading east, and often it's just 3 or 4 locomotives lashed together. And that's what happened this time. I think there were 3 NS units, no heritage units or anything like that, but there were 3 going in the other direction. So I did see that, but that obviously is not as exciting as what you saw. Good idea, Sparky. I've got a bunch of mini print. I've got a couple of things to open here from mini prints. And I want to discuss a project related to one of those. So that's an excellent idea. If you want to order from mini prints, now's the time to do that. Yeah, and sorry my overhead camera isn't working. I have used this in the past successfully. No issues. I don't know. All right, so now I've got 2 boxes from mini prints, and I'm going to open them up. And the one project that relates to this is, and I'll probably do something on a future live stream about this, and that is the modern day hobo. And again, my buddy Frank Russo in Colorado was doing a little research about this, and I think he even actually did a thumbnail for me about the modern hobo. All right, so I've got the box open here. And it reminds me of when I was rail fanning in Sacramento, California one time. And it was, I want to say, late spring. And trains coming down off the hill, as they call the Donner Pass there, the hill, still had snow on them, sometimes a lot of snow. And I remember vividly that the day I saw all that snow, I also saw a guy hopping the train to get to Reno, to go over the Donner Pass into Nevada. And so he climbed up onto the train, and he made himself comfortable kind of in the eaves of a covered hopper. And he tucked himself back down in there, and I'm guessing he was going to stay there for the entire trip. And so I thought I would try and get a figure from mini prints that was of someone kind of curled up in a ball, crouching down, so they would fit in a covered hopper like that. I just thought it would be cool for everybody to have, you know, a hobo if you're modeling an older time period, or a modern day hitchhiker on a freight car. And so that would be something cool to point out to people on the layout. So let's see. So the first figure from mini prints is a Yeti. I'm just a Yeti person. Prickly pear cactus. Again, I've got Gulf Coast, and so I need to have that. These are agave plants. Look quite large, but I know agave can be large. All right, this does not appear to be the box that has the hobo in it. Got a couple of coyotes. And these are just some mattresses for garbage, for trackside garbage. So my hitchhiker figure is not in this box. So I have one more Mini Prince box to open. Hopefully that will be the one that contains the hitchhiker figure. Yeah, I know, Dave. Every layout needs a Bigfoot. I had to get one. And I'm a huge fan of Bigfoot. Well, I don't know if you can hear it, but NS is going by again. In the dark. So I'm not going to run out there and try and see what it is. But they're blowing a lot for the crossing. I can tell you that much. Boy, Bernard does a great job packing his figures. He doesn't skimp on the bubble wrap. Oh, no. Well, it looks like Bernard duplicated my order. So here I don't have the figures that I ordered. I have exactly the same thing as the other box. So it looks like I'll have something to communicate with Bernard about after all. So at any rate, I did order, I did not receive, but I did order one of Bernard's, custom scans. There was someone who posed crouched down on their haunches, kind of. And I thought that would be a good person to put in the eaves of a covered hopper to be a hitchhiker. So yeah, Randall, propane tanks would be a good thing to have. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just seeing JD's a post about Ralph Renzetti. He was a great guy. Great guy, good modeler. Wasn't he the original Get Off My Lawn guy, too? Didn't he really popularize that on Modeler's Life podcast? Wasn't it Ralph Renzetti? That's sad. So, look, I don't want to dwell too much on the negative, and I'm passing away, but I do think it's important. There's been a lot of stuff online about end-of-life planning for model railroaders. I know the Around the Layout podcast had something. It's definitely something worth thinking about. That's why I'm making my layout an island layout. It'll be easy for people to take it down and get rid of it. And also, just for what it's worth, this is only tangentially related to model railroading, but there is a product called the Next of Kin box, N-O-K, knock box, Next of Kin box. And that is a way for you to organize the things in your life that the people you leave behind will need to know. So in my case, for example, I've already done a goodbye video to be posted to my channel when I pass away. That's going to be in the knock box. Instructions on how to log onto my computer and get into my YouTube account. How to get into this space, the alarm code, how to get into my phone so they can use the software on my phone in order to get into the space. Bank account information, how to get into the online banking system, how to get into my house, what the alarm codes are, all that stuff. So, Todd, you're a funny man, I must say. I'm looking forward to experiencing your humor firsthand in Canada. Yeah. Yeah, we just need to think about it. So the knock box, I think, is kind of a cool idea. So where are you going to put your life insurance policies? Where are you going to put information about your retirement accounts and access to that? I want to leave information in there for my wife about what you can expect in terms of survivor benefits from Social Security, assuming that I predecease her, which the odds are I will. So, and we all know the old joke about why do men die before their wives? Because they want to. So, of course, that's not true in my case. I really love my wife and I love my life, but it's not going to last forever, and I'm not going to last forever. And I guess I just don't want to. So it's good to prepare. So enough of that. And I'm sorry I didn't have the figures I expected from Bernard. I got a duplicate order, so I'll have to pick those up from him when I see him. Yeah, John. I'm sorry to hear that you lost those relatives, but yeah, this is something you know, you don't need to dwell on it. You don't need to be morbid. I'll be honest with you though, making a goodbye video for my channel was a good experience. It really made me process, what do I want to say to people after I'm gone? What's my final message? And you know, counting on my wife, my sons to get it published, I don't think is counting too much. And so I just think it would be a good thing to do. Now they may, you know, if by then I'm monetized and somehow there's a little cash coming through on this, then they you know, it won't mean the channel is going to be shut down permanently. But it'd be nice to send that message. I recommend doing that. It makes you consider your own mortality in a positive way. What would your message be? You know, hopefully something positive and encouraging. Yeah, I will send Bernard. I'll communicate with Bernard for sure. All right, so I've got another unboxing here. And I'm sorry, I am not matching Heath Hurwitz's pacing on unboxing. I'm blowing it. I'm going way too fast. But I've really only got 5 minutes left. So you remember in my last live stream, I talked about the rail ripper from World War II, the implement that was used by German forces to tear up the sleepers or ties in their retreat in order to prevent typically the Russians from being able to utilize the rails to more quickly pursue them. And so I ordered a kit from Poland of this. So it's a resin kit from Poland. I believe it's in 1/72nd scale. So here is that parcel. It's addressed to me here at the shop. And I think this was off of eBay. And I'm pretty sure it's 1/72nd scale, but I'm going to cut open this bag and we'll take a look at this kit together. I know 1/72nd scale is not a classic model railroad scale, but it is a classic military modeling scale. And it's the scale that I model in when I am not predominantly model in when I'm modeling military subjects. All right. Well packaged. It had a layer of cardboard around the box of the kit itself. So very well done. And here's the Schienenwolf, as that would be said auf Deutsch. Schienenwolf. Does say it's 1/72nd scale. So I'm going to slice this open. Here's the instruction sheet. It looks to be in Polish and into English, fortunately. So, and it's got a couple of the classic shots of the historical implement, and then there's a kind of a numbered view of construction. And on the back is a picture of the parts that are supposed to be included in the kit. So now I'm going to take down, they too, they're rivaling Bernard with their use of bubble wrap. And here is the entire kit. So it is quite small. Looking at the pieces, there's a good level of detail. There's nice rivet detail on the hook that goes underneath the between S and O. I think it would be between HO and S. S is 1/64th, right? HO is 1/87th. So 1/72nd scale would be between HO and S. So my initial impressions are quite good about this. It's a resin casting. It's not a, I don't think it's 3D printed. I don't think so. I think it's actually a resin casting with liquid resin. It could be a print. It's hard to say, but very small parts. A little bit of color variation between the pieces, but pretty crisp. A little bit of flash. Right, 176 is 00. That's right. That's right. Okay, Mike, good night. Good night. Good to see you. So this looks really cool, pretty easy to put together. So I can see me constructing this fairly quickly. The parts do not look like they're going to require much cleanup at all. So this is, I'm excited. I'm excited for this little model. So there we have that. All right, so thank you. So I'm just gonna, the hour is almost up. I'm gonna show you the trailers that I'm working on and the batch build. I wanted to talk a little bit about batch building, so let's do that for those of you that have the time. I love batch building. I think it's a great way to make progress, and a lot of times on the layout, you need multiples of an item, and so you need them anyway, so you might as well build them all at once, and you gain efficiency. If you're building the same kit, you learn the idiosyncrasies of that kit, and you can then produce a lot of them in a fairly short amount of time. And that's what I'm doing for a large number of projects. And the one that I'm going to talk about today, again, as I said, this table back here is going to have an auto batch building. Sparky is when you build 3, 4, 5 of the same item at the same time. So in my case, because this is going to be an auto transshipping facility, I'm going to need a bunch of tractor trailers pulling auto transporters, right? Trailers with cars on them or empty. That's right, Sparky. It is kind of an assembly line process. Absolutely. So you do step 1 5 times in a row, then you do step 2 5 times in a row, and you build them all at the same time, back to back, and in a much more efficient way, you know. And so I'm building a whole bunch of these A-line trailers. So what I do, boy, I shouldn't have put this easel behind me. I mean, this frame behind me. Now I can't see anything. So What I do to organize my batch builds, and I would be glad to hear what you all do, is I get individual boxes, usually, you know, half of a freight car box, and I put all of the pieces for one model in each box. So this is one of these A-line trailers that I've cut up, cleaned up all the parts, and it's ready to be assembled. And here's another one where I've got most of the parts cut out, but they're not all cut out. Yeah, that's right, Steve. I have, I think, 5 separate A-line kits. And I also have a Walthers auto transshipment, like a big box kit that had a bunch of the ramps in it. And that has 2 additional auto trailers, probably from the same mold, look identical, just cast in black plastic instead of gray plastic. So I think I have 7 total auto transport trailers to put together. Now, I sure wish that they were nicer kits, right? I mean, because what is on the prototype, transparent metal mesh is, in this case, solid. But it does have a diamond plate pattern on it. So I can put a black wash in there and create some appearance of transparency. So not the end of the world. But again, it's more about visual effect. It's to have 7 auto transporters around this scene is going to really help make the scene. You know, I haven't gotten the tractors for this yet, Steve. And A-Line said it was possible to modify. You're right. They are built for a certain tractor. But A-Line said with some modifications you could make on you could use it on other tractors. So I don't have all the tractors yet. I have a few tractors that I could use. And none of them will require modification to use the back end of the trailer. Let me show a picture of the completed kit so you can see. So there's what the completed kit looks like. And obviously the back end of the trailer can sit in the kingpin of almost any tractor, but it's that front unit where the car is parked on top of the trailer. That's one that has to be customized for the tractors, I believe, Steve. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so who makes a brass model of this, Steve? I'd like to get that. Oh, really, Joe? I had no idea. I thought the A-Line model was the only one that was available, so this is good information. And you know, there was that Train Cat guy who did all kinds of etched brass models. I wondered if he did this. And he's kind of gone radio silent, right? I think his wife had some sort of a health problem, and he's no longer been at conventions or shows, and he's pretty much shut down. But he had a pretty big assortment of very interesting etched brass models. But his website is every couple of years I go out and check to see if he's actually working. Hello, Tammy. It's no worries. Glad you were here, assuming it's Tammy and not Ray. If it's Ray, hello, Ray. Glad you could make it. We're winding down here and talking about the A-Line auto transporter kits that I'm batch building. So, but as I said, what I do is I cut up each model, clean up the parts, put them in these separate small bins, and then it's easy to take them out, put it together. Step 1, do it 5 times, put them away. Step 2, and so it just kind of rolls that way, and it just it's very it's fun, and you end up at the end of the day with a lot of models. So I believe I did a a video about a batch build I did building Magnuson model cast resin Ottawa yard goats, and I did a big batch of those. Thanks, JD. Thanks for being here. Thanks for monitoring, folks, giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Take care. Sorry I won't be seeing you in Canada, but you are somebody I have met in person, and hopefully we can rail fan together again some other time. But until next time, JD, have a good night. JD, have a good night. Yeah, as I said, Steve, I believe the Walthers kit that I got has the same molds as the A-line trailers. I'll have to take a closer look at them and see if they're showing any age and have the same level of detail and good alignment like the A-line kits. We'll see. All right, Sparky, I will check out your videos. Thanks again for all your work on getting this meet and greet together. I know we're going to have an awesome time, and I look forward to seeing you again and shaking your hand. Good night, sir. So that's my current batch build. Joe Rader, have you ever done any batch building? If you have, I suspect you have some advice for us about how to do it and the efficiency of it. Thank you, Steve. I will keep that in mind. I will keep that in mind. So, yeah, they need to, yeah, they certainly can't be sleeper cabs, right? They cannot be sleeper cabs. So, yeah, I don't know. But again, I might run a lot of these without the over the cab storage. Just drop them on the kingpin in the back and be done with it. Because it's kind of about the visual impact. Okay, Joe, but at least you do your box. You do a lot of those box cars. Thank you for my souvenir box car again, by the way. So I don't know if you have any tricks. Like, does it speed up? How do you do the decaling and painting on those box cars when you have 3, 4, 5 in the works? Is there any magic to that? I just suspect that it's efficient. You know, you can lay 5 box cars out and you can weather all of them on the same side, let that dry, flip them over, do the ends all at the same time, you know, kind of speedy. Okay, Randall is saying he has got his project, his locomotive detailing and customization project going, and he's got his first video done. That's outstanding. That's cool, Randall. I'm going to check that out. I'm really looking forward to that project. You know, I love customizing models and freelancing, and so it's right up my alley. I will definitely take a look at that. So at any rate, that's my current batch build. I have another batch build in the works. I didn't bring it out here, but I have, I think, 5 or 6 auto loading ramps that fit behind the auto transporting cars, the auto rack cars. And James, I saw you'd posted a video. That looked great. I love your thumbnail. I just saw it before this started, though. So I couldn't take a look at it, but I will definitely take a look at that. Yeah, true enough, Steve. True enough, Steve. Wow. Well, Anthony, maybe you should sign off. Even under the best of circumstances, I probably couldn't keep somebody awake with my dialogue. So you should go ahead and get some sleep, brother. Get some rest. So I have these 5 auto ramps that I'm working on as well. But the auto ramp kits are an old style. They're not on rubber wheels. They're on rails. So I'm converting them to have rubber tires and to have engines in them so they can be driven around the lot, which is what modern auto ramps are like. And so there's some work required, customization work, and I need to Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. In terms of batch building, building one up front, I think is important. And I'm probably going to do that with these trailers just because when I cut these things out, or at least one I'm going to have to cut out and build without prepping the parts in advance because I need to know the part numbers. This kit does not have step-by-step instructions. So I need to figure out what step one really is and what that part looks like, and then attach it, and then go to the ones that aren't labeled and get those done. So it's that's a good point. Doing one either up front or with the instructions and not getting ahead of yourself in terms of parts prep is probably a good idea. Okay, so the Newfie bullet is what your video is about, I'm taking it, James. So I'll definitely check that out. I will definitely check that out. So that's another batch build that I have in the works. And I have one more batch build I can show you here. So this is kind of a hybrid batch build, but many of you remember that there was this Gunderson undecorated 5-unit well car available in the Blue Box series. And so I'm building this, and it's going to be labeled for the PK and W. So I have these 5 wells. The only thing I've done so far besides cleaning up these castings is getting the weights installed. But I also have from Plano West, I have these etched brass accessory packs for this kit. There's several of them. And so I'll be putting them together. You can see here I've already put together a lot of the corner casting things that go onto the cars. So, but essentially it's going to be building 5 of these wells. There's slight variations, obviously, for the end units, but because these were 5 units that ran as 5 wells that ran as a single unit, so but it's kind of a batch build scenario. And I have I've gotten a little ways into this, done some of the etch metal prep and also plastic prep. So. I'm checking chat here. All right, Randall. Well, hopefully you can. And I'm just glad. I know you were held up in your project, Randall, because of your health situation. And so now you're making progress. So that's great. I'm glad to see that. And I'll be glad to see your videos. So that's all I've got for you tonight. I'm hoping that next month I will be coming to you from my workshop. And this will not be the background. There'll be a little bit better background. Maybe I'll have figured out sound in this camera, or I'll have some other camera to use for an overhead. But that's all I've got for you tonight. Now, hopefully some of my SDS colleagues are still on and they can tell me who's got next week so that we can advise folks. Okay, there we go. So the man himself, Ray Bobel, has got SDS for next week, so you can be sure that it's going to be a fun time when Ray is in charge. So please mark your calendars to visit us next time at Ray's channel at 8 o'clock on next Sunday evening. So, all right, Count, good night. And good night to everybody. I'm going to sign off. Thanks again for your time. I hope I provided you a little bit of entertainment, and it was really great to see you. And I look forward to seeing those of you who are going to be in Canada, and those of you who aren't going to be in Canada can certainly expect some reports. Hopefully I'll be able to do some interviews and post those on my channel. And so you can participate vicariously in the Sparky meet and greet experience. So take care, make it a great week, and thanks again for spending some time with me. Bye-bye.